Don't fade me, bro. This is the WeWin Sports Podcast.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the WeWin Sports Podcast. Today, we'll give our 30-second rants. In Mikey's case, more like a 2-minute rant. And we'll give you our 2 best bets of the week. David Woodley started Speed Survivor. I invested $100,000 in Woodley as CEO founder. It better work. Website is speedsurvivor.com. Woodley has great knowledge and sharp takes. Brandon Cantu is a 2-time World Series of Poker winner and has a World Poker Tour title as well. Cantu always has some well-thought-out takes. Mike the Mouth Matisow is a 4-time World Series of Poker winner. Mike knows sports, studies sports, and watches more games than all of us combined. I'm here in Chicago signing 250 hats and 50 books at the Rush Street Interactive offices here in Chicago. Promote. Danny, run the video from Sunday night of me pulling into Michael Jordan's old house in Chicago. Well, you never know where you're going to find yourself. Back in Chicago, heading up. I think a lot of people know what the number 23 means. There's this basketball player used to play for the Bulls. I think this is the house that he built a long time ago. I'm gonna go have a little tour. Mikey, coming to you hot, number 1. What is your rant?
Surprise, surprise. Mike wasn't paying attention. I'm going to have to speak for Mike now. He wasn't paying attention to our text stream. We moved to 12:30 on Monday. Here's a current live photo.
There's a cat.
Oh, we got the cat. Is that Mike? Oh, where's Mike? You can't even make it up. So we're like, well, Mike must be asleep. He's not answering. So we had Danny, our producer, go over to Mike's house. Danny, what is the live update that you have on Mike?
There it is. There's a big, that's it. The Woodley has the picture. Mike is out cold. Danny is in Mike's house. You can't make this up, Cantu. Danny is in Mike's house right now. Mike is out cold. And he's like, I thought it was tomorrow. And then he went back to sleep. He's out cold.
I bet that cat would pick better than he did this NFL season, without a doubt.
Well, Woodley, I'm going to show you facts. If the cat picked, okay, we ran the numbers, okay, on Mike being 26 games below 500. All right, now we ran it, and if the cat picked, in other words, somebody random picked, 1 in 180 years would someone do worse. So yes, on the other hand, if you like to do fade the mouth, you would have won 26 units. Woodley, we're coming to you instead with your rant. Go.
I mean, listen, obviously it's about Mike, okay? We missed this on the podcast last week. We didn't talk about the trade of Luka to the Lakers, right? Which it's pretty rare in sports or life that everyone universally agrees on like one thing. And the universe agreed that that was a absurd trade for the Mavericks to make. But who is the one person that disagreed for whatever reason, right? Mike. Not only did Mike think that the Mavericks won it, he thought they won in a landslide. He went to twitter.com or x.com and said, Dallas is now the team to beat. They got Anthony Davis and all this. And I'm not going to go in depth about this, but we have to hear nonstop from him on why it's so great, right? Oh, no, they got the defense. They got the height. They got the centers. They're unbeatable. Anthony Davis this, Anthony Davis that. All right. So then we come on the podcast last week and Phil picks the Warriors. Mike, oh, they got no size. They can't beat anybody. What happens yesterday? Dallas goes and plays the Warriors, right? The tiny Dallas or the tiny Warriors versus the giant Mavericks. And what do the Mavericks do with their 17 centers on roster? They lose by 22, and it wasn't even that close. They should have lost by 40 at that point. So Mike, Mike's sleeping it off, and it's just, it's classic Mike. He can't be here, but I'm glad his cat came on. It's we just showed you the picture of Mike. The cat's a little nicer to look at than Mike passed out, in his bed.
That cat's really cute. Mike, not so much. All right, so Cantu, you ready for your rant?
Oh yeah. my rant is, and it's going to first play off of, I gave 2 picks. I gave the Suns, which the lines weren't out. I just said they're a complete disaster. I said take the money line. I said Suns. Well, the Suns were favored by 4 against the Bulls. Of course, the Bulls cover. Then they play the Raptors. The Suns are 2.5-point favorites. They lose by 18. What an absolute disaster the Suns are. I mean, they have nothing going for them. They have very few draft picks for the future. There is nothing you can do. Bradley Beal has a no trade clause. He won't leave. He loves the pretty women out there in Scottsdale. I don't know where you go from here, but it's about to get really, really bad. That they couldn't even unload Durant when they have no chance, even if they are going to make the playoffs. They have no chance of anything. Anyways, Suns in the toilet.
You know, Cantu, you and Mike both gave that pick on the podcast. You both said, hey, guys, you bet against the Suns the next few games. They are going to go right into the toilet. You and Mike were both like shocked because you both came with the same exact pick of any pick in the world you could choose.
Crazy. We hadn't talked about that either.
Yeah, and Mike's like, what? That's my pick. So I love that. To come back to the Anthony Davis trade, and we told Mike, we said, listen, Anthony Davis is 32. I think that's right. And he's injury prone. And you're trading a generational player in Luka.
At 25.
And then Mike, we had to hear Mike because Dallas started out pretty good. And the Lakers didn't start out so good. And now all of a sudden, the truth is being shown. And as a matter of fact, my first bet of the week happens to be on Wednesday night. We're filming Monday, Wednesday night. Right now, the line is 7. Maybe it's 7.5. I love, it's Lakers versus Mavericks, which you're just talking about, the Lakers versus Mavericks. Ooh. I think that Luka's going to be fucking pissed. By the way, I am going to bet every over on Luka. But especially points. I think Luka just torches him for 50. I think he's going to be really pissed off, and I think they're just going to smash them. I think they're going to win by 25 points. I'm going to make my biggest in-season bet, which is usually around $2,000. I'm betting the Lakers. I'm also going to bet Luka over whatever. I don't care if they Cantu has this way of saying, I don't care what the number is, but it's probably going to be like a number like somewhere in the 20s because Luka hasn't been really, really, really good. I think he's just going to absolutely torch him. My 2 best bets, I gave you 2, Lakers and Luka over whatever the points are. I don't think that number's out yet. Cantu, let's come to you. What's your best bet?
Well, I want to play off what you said. First, I got to say, Phil, I was thinking that I like the Mavericks better, but after listening to you talk, I really think, first off, I love the Luka bet over even more than the Lakers. I think they're going to be feeding Luka. You want to talk about a pissed off superstar. I don't care if he shoots 30 some shots. He's going to put up 50. And if he doesn't, he's going to try his hardest. I love the over, and I agree with you. I don't care what the line is. I just think he absolutely goes all out for it. And as far as that, I'm switching. I do like the Lakers minus 7.5. Woodley, what do you think about those 2 picks?
Yeah, I wish Mike was here because he would be like, yeah, that's a square peg. Physics says to fucking take the under. Everyone's gonna be on the over. And everybody is going to be, to be clear, everyone's going to be on the over, but it's fine. Like sometimes like the obvious choice is obvious. I don't do a ton with spreads on the NBA in season because it's like a really good way to make yourself crazy. But I'll take it. I think they're gonna but like Luka over everything. Like he's pissed, man.
Yeah.
And and the thing too is like he's going to be playing like really hard there. There's 2 sides of this, right? It wasn't like he was like the disgruntled player that left, right? Like I think if Jimmy Butler goes back and plays the Heat are going to like be throwing bows at him, right? Like because they all didn't like him at the end. The players loved Luka, right? So like they're not even going to be playing him that hard. You get what I'm saying there? They're not going to be like cheap shotting him or anything. They're going to be playing him straight up, like and like him and Kyrie are still tight, so he's gonna torch him. I love that. I'll take the, I love it. I actually love both of them because if he goes off, they're gonna win by a million anyways. And I just wish Mike was here to tell us how square it was.
We always talk about, like, during the NFL, our joke is, okay, what team's Mike's favorite thing to say? Oh, it's the Cowboys Super Bowl this week, and it's like week 6. He loves to talk about like their Super Bowl. This is Luka's regular season Super Bowl. I mean, you're gonna see everything he has, and I think if the game gets out of hand, I think the Lakers are just going to feed him every time. He might get the most shots he's put up all year in this game.
But also another thing, like, nobody knows the Dallas players like Luka. So, I mean, he knows what people's strengths and weaknesses are. He knows he can go left, he can go right. He knows all of their foibles, all of their flaws. Yeah, I really see a real beating coming. And again, Luka, he might just go off for 50 in this game. Okay. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how we.
1 second, Woodley, would you like to do your ad read? I'll let Phil.
We gotta talk about our sponsor real quick. That makes it all possible. Yeah. So today's sponsor, EdgeBoost, back here again today. EdgeBoost is the first ever dedicated bank account for gamblers. That's right, 100% approval rate for sports betting, daily fantasy sports, casino, and sweeps. And that's on both your deposits and withdrawal instantly. And that's whether you're playing online or at a brick and mortar spot, like Phil and Cantu later this week, and they'll get into that. But here's where it gets even better. With the EdgeBoost Visa debit card, you can move up to $250,000 a day and earn cash back on every single deposit. Literally, it's a no-brainer, guys. We're all using it. Cantu's been using it. I've been using it. We're gonna be testing it out a little bit in person, and check it out. EdgeBoost.bet. Once again, that's EdgeBoost.bet, and we'll drop the link and all that stuff in our social media and all that as well.
Okay, Woodley, let's go. Okay, let me just think about this. I think it's interesting. I'd like to talk just quickly about our NBA picks, because I had the Warriors at 60-1. Some of you laughed at me, which is fair. It's a homer pick. But I heard it's all the way down to 25-1. This is like 4 or 5 days later.
20-1, Phil. Even lower.
I did see, someone told me 20-1, and it's so unbelievable. So if you took my advice, you can probably just lay off right now and have a 40-1 free roll. If you bet 500 at 60-1, now you can bet the other side, and well, maybe it's, yeah. Anyway, it looks like a really good mathematical bet. I do believe in the Warriors, and I think anybody's going to have trouble when they run into Oklahoma. But they might make it that far, and then Steph Curry can just, like, he can win a championship by himself. So yeah, that's mine. And then we're going to come to Woodley. Your Minnesota went the other way. Your pick.
I think like 60-1 to 70-1. I mean, the thing I will say about these future bets is if you're looking to play some and you have the outs, if you're in like a legal state, you should check them, because like you just said it with the Warriors, like there's a 25-1 out there, there's a 20-1 out there. I mean, with the Timberwolves, there's still a 50-1, but yeah, part of it's up to 70-1. I don't know. I mean, it's like, listen, it's a long shot kind of either way. Like I love the Warriors pick, obviously, now with what Phil got it at. I
love both of those.
I want to do the Warriors right now at 20-1 personally, but at the 60-1, he got like insane value there. And then, the Timberwolves, watched them again last night. They actually hung with the Thunder, Mike's chalk pick of the year. They hung with them. And actually, Anthony Edwards had like a bad game, and Randall didn't play, and DiVincenzo didn't play, and they're playing the Thunder again tonight, like at Oklahoma City. So that's gonna be one to watch. But I'll stand by it. It's like a 60-1 long shot or 50-1. I don't know.
70-1.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, now here's the thing. I love the T-Wolves even more now at 70-1. It was 50 when we gave it out. It's been 72 hours. Nothing has changed in the NBA, guys. People think like, oh, Jimmy Butler shows he can play at Golden State. He could have just had 2 hot games. I mean, let's chill out. 60-1, 20-1. This is the same as 50-70. Nothing matters in the NBA, especially where most of these teams aren't trying and tanking and taking breaks. Nothing has changed in 72 hours if you didn't have an injury.
Well, except for it's funny. The more things change, the more they stay the same. One of their teams I said I'd like get into the semifinals was the Knicks, and like I did you see what they did with Karl Anthony Towns yesterday? Like what Tibbs did. Like Tibbs is known for running these players into the ground. They were losing by like 30 points. he tweaked his knee or something. I mean, he was on the sideline. I texted you guys. I thought his ACL was blown because he was like in pain, like screaming. And I guess he like fixed it or whatever. And that was at the 8-minute mark. And then for some reason at the 3-minute mark, they were still down by 16 points. 16 points. So the game is over. Regular season game. We're not talking game 7. We're not talking eliminate. Tibbs puts in Towns back in the game. And like all of like New York Knicks fandom like had a meltdown. They're like, okay, yeah, his knee's feeling better, but like you don't think the guy's just like screaming in agony there that it's a blowout game. Like you can play your bench players for a few minutes, right? But that gives me pause on my Knicks pick going that far too, because it's like, oh yeah, like Tibbs is there. Like he's running he does what he always does. He runs these fucking players into the ground in the regular season. And now I'm very unsure that the Knicks can even make a deep run at this point, because they're probably going to be the ones that have to knock off Cleveland. And now it's like I kind of almost like Cleveland a bit. But I don't know. NBA is interesting. It's gonna be fun to kind of revisit this as the season goes on, because it's just NBA is it's a I think they could fix the product a bit, but it's a really fun place to talk about, because other than OKC and Boston, like everything else seems up for grabs. I mean, would you guys agree with that somewhat?
Hold on a second, Woodley. You put in that Towns had his ACL blown, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, he like or tore the ACL." That didn't actually happen. I actually took that as, oh, he's out for the year. I never.
No, but did you see him on the bench? Did you see the highlight?
I didn't see the highlight. I just went like, in my mind, I just thought of the ACL.
No, Woodley said it looked like that.
Oh, I thought he said he did tear it.
Yeah, he said it looked like that.
No, he
I
was
would say
on the
this
bench.
too.
Yeah.
So, Cantu, do you have anything? So nothing's changed. You kind of already made your opinion clear. Nothing really changed. Okay, so then I'm going to go to, I love the NBA. And I'll tell you what, one comment about the Warriors. They are really good player managers. Other than, in my opinion, maybe one season where they were going for the record, and I think maybe they could have rest Steph a little bit down the stretch a little bit more than they did, but they did get the NBA record, which is also a really big deal. Woodley, I'm coming to you right now for your pick of the weeks.
I've been trying to learn more about like college basketball and stuff. I've been like listening to some pods and these like Twitter spaces, which as Cantu knows can be a mess. But there's been a few good ones. Actually, this guy, I was listening to this guy that like knows hoops, and I've been in a couple group chats with people that like know college hoops, right? And they know all these mid majors and stuff. So I've been trying to build myself up there a bit. The one I love and I got down on is University of California, San Diego. At 90-1 to make the Final Four. Everyone was just telling me it's like great odds. It's great odds. Like, yes, like again, it's 90-1, which like, and in a tournament like March Madness, like the hedge opportunities become very, very easy to hedge, right? Like if they make the Sweet 16 at that point, like you're in really good shape with money there. But UCSD. What's funny is like, again, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on every single deep analytical rating, but like one of the ones they use the most, I think it was like KenPom and Net. They actually have them like right there with like Duke. Like it's like Duke is, I think, like 26, and then like these guys are like right here. And if you look at Duke to make the Final Four, it's not 90-1. I would be shocked if it's any higher than like 6-1, right? Because it's Duke. So anyways, that's one to keep an eye on is that one. And I think heading in, I think you guys are probably going to say, yeah, we're going to throw money on a 90-1 long shot because Woodley thinks there's value there. But I'm
100%.
curious if you have any like other thoughts in college basketball thus far, or a bet that you like, or some team that surprised you.
I have a thought. UCSD's mascot is, for you people that love trivia, King Triton. But nobody's heard that one. King Triton.
Yeah, the Tritons. Yeah.
All right, Cantu, what's your number one bet of the week?
Well, this is going to be bet, or we're going to call it bets, because it's going to be the same thing all week. Now, the thing I hate, now we're doing the show on Monday at noon. What we've kind of noticed is there's not a lot of lines out for the rest of the week, especially in sports like NASCAR and secondary sports. But what I am going to say is I'm going to follow the same thing of this. Just go against the Suns. It's very easy. Just bet against them every day. Complete disarray. They play the Grizzlies tomorrow. They play the Pelicans Then they play the Pelicans for a back-to-back. I mean, there's just no team that wants to be there less. They want to be done. They're now 3 games out of 500. They're not even in the play-in game anymore. I'm just going to ride that wave. So we're going to have probably 4 games in between, and I'll let you guys know how it did because I'm betting against them every game.
Okay, love that. All right, let's see. So Woodley, do you have another a second pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna go something a little bit easier. That you don't have to wait like 2 months to cash or hedge. It's a homer pick, but again, like listen, I watch these guys every single game. I'm taking the Minnesota Wild minus 137 versus the Red Wings, Detroit Red Wings.
When is the game?
Tomorrow night. So
Okay,
we got time. So Tuesday
tomorrow,
night.
when you say tomorrow, you say Wednesday night.
No, tomorrow's Tuesday, Phil.
Tuesday. Okay, yeah. That's why we're saying it out loud. Yep.
Yeah. Phil, to be fair to Phil, the guy hasn't like been home. Like, I mean, the text stream has just been him sending insane videos. Like, it's just, like the Michael Jordan one. There's like other ones that he'll probably share at some point. All PG, to be clear. Like, we're not, this isn't that kind of show. Yeah, the Wild are playing really, really good hockey. It's the 2 young guys. And Cantu's going to touch on the Four Nations tournament a little bit. But what's interesting there is like that Four Nations tournament was actually really good for some of these like young players to actually like get out there and like get on prime time and stuff. And the 2 guys that played the most minutes in that final game were 2 young Minnesota Wild players, Matt Boldy and Brock Faber. Both are superstars in the making, right? It's like 23 and 22 years old. That game ended at like midnight on a Thursday. They had to play Saturday at noon. And any other professional athlete would have probably taken the day off or like taken some shifts. Those guys played a full game on Saturday at Detroit. They came back down 2-0 and then down 3-1 in the third period and beat Detroit in overtime there. And I believe momentum is huge in hockey, especially during the regular season. So like Minnesota is rolling. Detroit is an okay team there, but this Minnesota team is absolutely rolling right now. I really love it. Call it a homer pick, but it's not like I'm on here 82 times a year saying like go bet the Wild, but I'm saying this game 100% get on it.
Ooh, I like it.
I can't really call that a homer pick. I'm gonna agree with you. Go ahead, Cantu.
Well, I want to touch a little bit on the Nations tournaments because now we've had the actual TV ratings that came in, and I saw that in the United States,
unbelievable,
they got a 10.4 rating, which is the highest on in the history of ESPN Plus. There was like one game in the NBA, like one of the finals games that did like a better rating. Also in Canada, it did a 10.3 rating, which means that 25% of the population of Canada watched the game. I mean, this is just an absolute smash. There was country pride you can see on the line here. And I just think it's great to see as the sport grows.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I mean, the fact that Canada was booing the United States of America's national anthem.
Oh, so good.
And all these controversies and President Trump saying should be the 51st state. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like, there was a lot of intensity to this game. It's like the 2 sides, it's like they're both electric. Now, Cantu, just a quick moment here. You and I and Woodley are all going to be in Philadelphia.
Yes, we are.
Okay, on Wednesday. So right now I'm in Chicago. Woodley's in New Jersey. You're in fucking, where the fuck are you?
I'm in Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah, so right near, so basically right near Portland. And then so we're all going to be congregating just in 2 days. And we're going to be streaming, which is going to be pretty fun. We're going to be streaming on the Bet Rivers channel. 5 of us, my son Philip is already in flight right now to Philadelphia. He's going to be one of us. And I'm kind of looking forward to some streaming there. And we're going to play some cash games there. And Cantu, the Warriors play Philadelphia on Saturday night. I have floor seats for my son and I. All right. And I'm buying you tickets somewhere in the 5th to 8th row. Maybe better, depending on the price and what's available. And you'll probably end up with box seats too. Woodley, you're invited to this too. That's Saturday night in Philadelphia. And I'm going to be betting my Warriors in that game. But again, it's just like, I hate giving these picks without lines.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'm going to probably bet the Warriors a lot. And then I've been doing this bet that didn't work out. Now, luckily, this pick that I gave out to the world didn't actually, like, you couldn't bet it because the podcast came out later. But I've been betting Steph Curry over 4.5 rebounds per game, and that's been paying off nicely for me. Yesterday, I noticed that Chet Holmgren was his over-under was, I think, 16 points. And so I placed a decent-sized wager on the over because I thought Holmgren, like, when Minnesota plays, okay, and they're playing Oklahoma. Did you say they're playing again tonight or tomorrow, Woodley?
No, they play tonight. I think it's tonight. Yeah, it's tonight. Yeah.
So I don't know if this podcast will be out in time. Danny will rush to get it out there, but might not be in time for tip-off. But I know a lot of eyeballs are on the Timberwolves versus, this is a game that a lot of people are watching. So I figured that Holmgren wants to show up, and 16 was kind of a disrespectful number. By the way, Shea Gilchrist's number was 31 points, 30.5. And he covered. He shot 30. He made 36 points. And I wanted to bet that too, but man, betting an NBA player over 30.5 points. But I think that he wanted to show the world that he's better than Anthony Edwards was my thesis. And so I didn't bet it, but I'm going to take a look at that tonight also.
You know what?
Yeah,
you know,
it's they don't have a number for Chet right now, but it looks like Alexander's is like over. It looks like 32. It's a lot of points.
Over
but
32.
yeah,
I can't,
I
I can't
don't know,
bet the
man.
under.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, that's for me. That's like a pass. I don't have a strong. That's a lot of points. I mean, it's like, that's a. Woof. And there's a lot of things like they could win. I mean, they're 12-point favorite. Versus Minnesota. It's at okay. I mean, that game could get ugly quick. You know, I mean that like a back-to-back. My worry there with him would be like he could have like 27 in the third quarter and he could just not see the court the rest of the game, you know, because they're up 30 points or something. But
I had to check you on this, and right now there is no number listed for Holmgren.
there's no, I'm talking for Alexander. Yeah, there's no Holmgren listed, which makes me wonder if he's hurt or something. Yeah.
And then and then Gilchrist Alexander is 32.5 at my site.
Yeah.
Over under. Oh my God. How can you bet that?
I got him at least 32. You know, you get the push.
And then Anthony Edwards is over 26.5. So, I mean, I guess we probably can't talk about this game anymore because we don't know if the podcast is going to be out in time for that.
can I tell you something I'm looking forward to, Phil?
Please.
Two things I'm looking forward to when we go to Philly. One is winning Phil's money and Woodley's money. That's number one. Two, I am interested in asking some of the locals. I mean, I have my own theories, you know, here across the country, but I want to talk to the 76ers fans. Why are the 76ers so bad at 20 and 36 when you have Maxey, you have Embiid, you have all these guys and they're doing so bad? How are they going to just miss the playoffs? I just
Cantu, here's an even better point. Woodley has gone on public record saying he hates Philadelphia over and over. He's done it like at least 50 times on the podcast. I hate Philadelphia. I hate Philadelphia. He's going to step into Philadelphia. I wonder if he shows up to the game, if anybody notices and gives him like the bird, or maybe gives him a nice little hard tap on the shoulder.
I might have to do a couple of videos, and where some people I know, not some real roughnecks out there, but just saying my buddy Woodley hates Philadelphia to some local Philadelphians, and just get a little video for the podcast, see what they say.
That's a great idea.
I go to Philly all the time. I mean, I have a lot of friends there. We have investors down there. I get down there a lot. I mean, it's funny. It's actually really funny because to go back a few weeks ago, and I promise this is going somewhere. We were sitting in at the Super Bowl. It was like mainly a Chiefs section, but my buddy for some reason was rooting for the Eagles because, well, we went to college in Oklahoma, so he was a fan there. And there was like this nice little Eagles Philadelphia family, right? It's this dad and the mom and like a couple kids. Like one was probably 13, one was like 10. Cantu has that boys probably close to that age, right?
Yep.
And we're there, and they're like, being so nice, and they're a Minnesota fan, and they're like, "Oh, we went to the Super Bowl there. Your fans were so nice to us, so nice to us. It was so great." And I was like, "Well, you should have fucking learned something, like taking it back with you, right? Like, you don't have to do this." So like, "Oh, like we're not that bad. It's overblown, all this." And like halfway through the game, they're like trying to fight. I'm not kidding you in this. Like they cannot help themselves. They're like yelling at the Chiefs fans, like trying to fight them. They're up like 30 points. They're doing like the tomahawk shot
Are
thing.
you
They're like
serious?
yelling at them. Yeah, and it's just they can't help it. And even my friends in Philadelphia are like, yeah, like it's who we are. And they're I have one friend named Paul. He's like, yeah, he's like, we do it. And he's like, we deserve to take it back. He's like, the problem with Philly fans, he's just like, we get really upset if someone gives it back to us, and that's where the fights begin. He's like, I think all Philly fans should be able to take it. So that's my thing with Philly fans, is they should be able to, if you dish it out, you should take it. And they don't do it. No, but Philly's fine. Like I said, it's an okay town. It's just that those sports fans are like, ugh.
So
Like,
I told
Phil's
some of the
gonna-
Warriors, like big brass, that I was going to this game, and I'm sure I'll text Draymond Green, and maybe Day will end up making it out to the Philadelphia card room with us to play poker with us on Saturday night. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up. He loves poker, but they said, Phil, you really can't wear a Warriors. You're sitting on the floor. You can't wear a Warriors jersey, and I'm like, why not? And they're like, Philly is the worst place to bring in wearing.
You gotta wear it. You gotta wear it.
So
No.
now I'm like, so the minute they said that, I thought, you know what? I really don't need that controversy in my life. I don't mind people booing me, but I don't want to get like somebody like getting into trying to punch me because I'm wearing a Warriors jersey, especially when their team's out of it this year. So I don't know. I'm really thinking about whether I'm gonna do that. Cantu. I have a jersey and I have a Warriors shirt. And I'm thinking about pulling it off and wearing it on the floor, but I'm also a little bit like, okay, this might be the one stadium, but we're not Europe, folks. We're not Europe where people actually get in fights and beat each other up. We're not South America where people have been shot before for rooting for the other team. This is United States of America. I should feel safe in Philly,
Certain
but I
cities
don't.
are, though. Certain
But I
cities-
don't.
I'm curious to see if they'd actually. I kind of want you to do it to see if the experience is any different between you and an average Joe. And I'm also curious to see, like, there would probably be some, they would be like, oh, that's Hellmuth, right? We can't like bring out the normal bag of tricks of like throwing a bottle at the guy, and they'd probably have to dig deep in there. So I'd be curious if they're like looking up some like bad beats or something, and they're like throwing those out at you or something.
I mean, as long as a
don't-
bottle's not thrown at me, I'd feel pretty comfortable. But it is Philly, man, and it's a little rough there, and. But I tell you, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be there for 5 days, Cantu and I. My son's going to be there. I'm going to Morimoto, which I heard is a 7-star restaurant on Tuesday night, Morimoto. So looking forward to that. My son's going to be with me. A sushi restaurant, Morimoto.
Wow.
All right, let's see, guys. Cantu, did you give your second pick yet?
Second pick, we're going to go to NASCAR. I'm going to give now, again, we're going to have to move to Tuesday because all these lines aren't out. But NASCAR is going to Austin. We're going to see some road course racing. We're going to go with Shane Van Gisberger, also known as SVG. He is a road course ringer. I'm going to be going with him. He won Chicago. It was also a road course. I'm loving this. That's my pick.
Okay. Who you like, Woodley? What's your second pick?
So I mean, this is not to belabor a point, but this is kind of like the problem when there's like no lines out there, because he's gonna be like the heavy favorite, but he could be like, if he's, let's just put it this way, if he's like plus 250 or lower, like I'm not touching it, because there's gonna be a couple guys that are making their like cup debut in that race, but they're like really good road course racers as well. I think you're gonna see some like really good value in some of the top 10s and the top 5s. Because there's those, especially the Circuit of Americas. These road races go one of two ways. They go either super chalky, and SVG will win. Or back in the day, like AJ Allmendinger would win. Or like things can go wrong, like that. Cautions breed cautions, like guys wreck. Fuel mileage can get into effect there. So.
I like Allmendinger as well on the road.
I'm going to probably fade SVG, because unless I get him at a good number, and then pick a couple long shots. And listen, if the race runs clean, then Cantu's going to win, and I'll get crushed. But if it doesn't, like I'll be positioned
Woodley,
well.
Your pick last week was actually, what was he? Was it 18-1 or something? He was actually in the lead with 4 laps to go, right?
We got to talk about this. Sorry, right? Let me set Woodley up a little bit better. At 10 o'clock at night, Mattisau sends a text to the group. It's 10 o'clock at night, and it says, Woodley, you got a chance. Your pick on the pod looks great. I'm like, dude, it's 10 o'clock. This race has been over for like 6 or 8 hours. And go ahead. No, I'll let you. I'm like, Mike, you idiot. You're watching a replay. Anyways, go ahead, Woodley.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, those NASCAR's funny, okay, because
But Woodley, remind the people who you bet so that they remember.
I had 2 guys. I had Keselowski and Ryan Blaney. Keselowski got wrecked out, no fault to his own, like relatively early, but he was looking good. And then Blaney was like the fat. So we got Blaney like early in the week. He wins qualifying, so he starts on the pole, and he's like the fastest car, and he was like the fastest car kind of throughout. I don't know what the live line was at that point, but he was definitely favored to win it at that point. And then he gets freaking just wrecked by this kid named Carson Hocevar, who's like young and has a really bad reputation already of like wrecking other. Like he's young and he already has his reputation of being like way too aggressive. He's like wrecking people. He's like taking out half the field. He never. The problem too is he never acknowledge. And I get it. We all can do this, but he never ever accepts blame, and it just rubs these like racers like the wrong way. They're like, "Would you have done anything different?" No, like he zigged and I zagged, and the announcer's like, "No, this guy's an idiot. He dumps him." So he dumps out Blaney. So Blaney goes from like second to like 20th, and there's like, I don't know, like 10 laps left. I didn't even think he still had a chance. I was like, whatever, it's over. Blaney actually then gets back to 4th, and they do another caution. He actually had a puncher's chance to win. Like that's how good of a car Blaney had. So I mean, it's easy to sit here and say,
what did you give him to us at? What were the odds, Woodley?
He was 10-1.
Okay, so you almost did a 10-1.
And Keselowski was Keselowski was 22-1. Sorry. Yeah, so it's I mean, the process was good. The thing with NASCAR though is these first 2 races, they call them like super speedway type tracks, where it's one of the few races where legitimately like there's like 25 guys that could win that race every time, because all the cars are truly about equal like that. You don't get laps down and stuff like that. The road course is a little bit different too, because it's a road course. But once they start getting to like, let's call them the normal tracks, like Las Vegas in another week or 2.
Ben, you are live right now. We're live doing our podcast. Okay, I just interrupted Woodley talking about NASCAR. Ben, so we have Mikey's chair and Danny's at the house. Mike's out cold right now as we're recording the podcast. His cat has been in the chair several times. But I said, I'm going to call my friend Ben, and we're going to get his 2 best bets of the week. Can't start tomorrow, Ben, because we're recording. It's Monday right now for the people at home. So you have a fun pick for me this week. And what's your favorite bet of the week, Ben? Go.
The Vegas Golden Knights pick 'em at the LA Kings tonight. I'm going with the Knights. I think they're going to go on a little run here. I think they're going to try to win the division, and I think they're going to take down the Kings tonight. That's a pick 'em.
I like it. Thank you, Ben, for filling in for Mike's chair.
With Carolina Hurricanes to win the Eastern Conference. They're the favorites, but I think they're the best team in the East.
Okay, so Ben likes the Carolina to win. Okay, to win in the East. And what are the odds, Ben?
The odds I see are plus 320, but there might be something better.
Okay, Ben sees plus 320, but it could be better. So we're talking about Carolina to win. To win what, Ben? The division? The East. Okay, so I'm going to bet that, because I got to tell you, Ben's on the phone with me right now, guys, and I got to tell you that Ben gave me the NFL MVP winner, and I made $9,750 betting Josh Allen because of Ben. All right, Ben, so you get your props on the podcast. You gave us Carolina, and great talking to you, and thank you for filling in for Mike, albeit briefly.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Okay, that was great. And by the way, I'm going to bet Carolina because I believe in Ben. He's given me a lot of winners over the years. All right. I am looking forward to doing some research on the college basketball stuff. Woodley, where can I find that bet of yours, the 90-1 or whatever it is?
FanDuel, DraftKings, probably your Bet Rivers. I mean, you're going to be in Philly tomorrow, so you could probably.
Okay, I'm going to look that up. Remind me.
Yeah, it's Final Four. I'll text you. I'll look it up and text you the options after this.
Okay.
Phil, you know who I want to bring on as a guest? Call that is going to be, I think, is one of the most interesting people I've ever talked college basketball for the tournament. I want to bring on Alan Boston. What do you think about that as a special guest?
Alan
for
Boston is
college
a
basketball?
sports genius. Alan Boston is a sports genius. We should bring him on. I think he would be a great guest. I love that. And then I think Woodley, we can bring our friend on too.
Oh, Sammy. Yeah.
Sammy P.
Sammy. We have a lot of friends, Phil. You know, it's hard. I had to.
No, Sammy
Lot of our
P. I
friends-
think.
A lot of successful friends, Phil. A lot of shows that we've
You know,
launched. A lot of
I'm going to
careers
say
we've
this.
launched.
Woodley, Sammy P. Predicted the NC2A tournament winner 2 years in a row. It'd be good to have him on here as well. And then I look forward to doing the series for the NBA, but that's still a month away. So,
He was texting me last night at like 2 a.m. during the Sean Perry spaces. So like, yeah, we'll get Sammy on here.
No,
We
don't
won't
bring
go
that
there.
up.
We
Don't
won't go
bring-
there. No, I didn't say anything, but he was texting me last night. So yeah, we'll get Sammy P on. And then maybe I think who we need to get on for Cantu, because it would just Cantu's Windsor birthday, by the way.
Mother's Day.
Oh, so it's perfect. It's a
Yeah.
perfect time to talk about NFL preseason futures. We're gonna bring on your own hero.
Yes, please. Please. Go ahead.
JRP wins, fresh from meeting Phil in Chicago. You know,
How'd that
we'll bring
meeting
on
go?
JRP.
Phil met GRP in Chicago. Tell us about that. How'd that go?
yeah, and it was great because I'm like, Cantu is your hero. I mean, you're Cantu's hero. And he was laughing, and we took a picture, and he posted a picture of the two of us. And I think it had quite a few views. And it just seems like a nice Wisconsin, I mean, a nice, Midwestern guy, and who's been doing some pretty good picking from what I understand. And I know Cantu's a fan of his. I know he would come on in a second with some of his picks. That would be a fun one. I'm still in Chicago at this minute, guys, but Philadelphia tomorrow. I'm looking forward to this. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be on the Bet Rivers Twitch stream, but all 5 of us at once. And then, and whoever goes the furthest in the tournament will probably, but then I'll also play some casino games while I'm there. Like I'll be on the Bet Rivers platform playing poker, but then I'm going to pop on and play some of the other fun games that they have. I'm hearing about this new game that's been taking over the world. I don't understand it. It's like, Woodley, you probably haven't heard of this. It's like a plane. It's called like Crash.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You bet like $100, right? And now it's 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, and you have to press a button before the thing crashes. The minute it starts crashing, you get 0.
You're done. It's crazy. Yeah. There's like I've
There's math
seen it.
components I'm hearing, but it doesn't make sense to me that it'd be a lot of math. But
It's funny. People try to beat it, right? I don't think. Come on, like we all like you don't beat casino games, right? Like long term. But it's funny, you'll watch people do it, right? And a lot of them will hit it. So it starts at 1x, right? And then the first thing it goes to is like 1.01x, right? So if you put $100, you could win like 10 cents, and they'll hit it immediately. But sometimes the plane even crashes then. So like their strategy is hitting it every time. Like I think in order for them to hit it every time, they got to hit 100 in a row, but they don't hit it 100 in a row ever, but they keep doing it because I'm sure sometimes it will go 120 in a row. And then like you'll be watching it, and then sometimes it'll be like, it'll crash early. And then there'll be these ones where it'll go like you can win up to like 400x. It's like crazy. It'll hit like 200x, then like a 25x, and then everybody's like, oh, the next one's going to be big, and then the fucking thing crashes. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to watch. I mean, my recommendation to
Hold
anyone
on.
is
I will be playing.
gamble responsibly.
So this is on the casino gaming floor? This game?
Oh,
No, this is on the online. So Cantu, when we're gonna be doing 5 live streams at once. Okay, and we're gonna be going Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night on our Twitch channel, on the Bet Rivers Twitch channel. Now, well, I'm gonna not say me because I'm not busting early, but say you bust early from the tournament, right? And you start playing this game. It might be that more people are watching you play this game than are watching the rest of us make a deep run in the poker tournament. Probably not, but
Yeah.
I'd like to see they're going to have some guaranteed poker tournaments Wednesday night for us, Friday night for us, and Sunday night for us because they want to get a lot of people to come and play. So I don't know what the buy-ins are. I don't know enough details. I do know this. We are appearing at the Rivers Casino in Philadelphia on Thursday night.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to appear, we're going to sign autographs, we're going to sign hats, we're going to take all the pictures, and then we're going to play some whatever the high stakes poker, whatever the highest we can play, we'll play. And we'll play with a bunch of the VIPs in the area. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that room is full with 300-400 people. So that's coming up this week.
Nice, nice. Aren't you also, Phil, launching a new channel or a poker content?
Yeah, PokerBrat TV is being launched too. So PokerBrat TV has already been launched on YouTube, and they're already having great numbers. So they're just showing, like, literally, I've shot like over 200 shows.
Okay.
And so they're showing those shows back to back to back to back to back. There's a lot of blow-ups going on, and some of them from 2010. So PokerBrat TV is going to be a Twitter. PokerBrat TV is going to be Instagram. PokerBrat TV is going to be YouTube, and PokerBrat TV maybe Twitch. So I think it's going to be fun for us to stream this week. All right, guys, any other thoughts on the sports world before we wrap this?
Nope.
So there's our picture of Mike. Now, this is the first time we ever tried this 3 because we missed a week, and the algorithm hates the fact we missed a week. So we can't have that happen anymore. We're all traveling, so we had to do it, the 3 of us.
I wonder what he's dreaming about right now.
Mike and his dreams. I will say this about Mike. Mike claims that he has these vivid dreams and they always hit. And I saw some hit, so I'm like, wow. But then, well, I don't even know if I want to go there. Well, Mike's not going to watch this, so I guess I'll say it. But then Mike, it was like the 2022 World Series, Cantu, and he kept calling me. Man, Phil, I had a dream I'm going to win it tomorrow. He didn't even make a final table. I have a dream I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a dream. And I'm just like, I like the fact that he kept having dreams of his own success. Because I like that, because that's a good thing. But I was wondering about the reliability.
Mike's definitely not going to listen to this, and I'll prove it because, hey, Mike, if you're listening to this, text me the word Sam Darnold, and I'll take $500 off the money you owe me from our bets.
Oh my God!
Don't tell them. If anyone tells them, tell you, it's
Woodley,
null and void.
put a stipulation on it, because if someone texts him the clip, that's not fair.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, he that'd be angle shooting. He wouldn't angle shoot me over that. So.